What's up, everybody? So this is A.R.S.E, a Random Stunner Explains. We're gonna do a quick update on 3 iatlas, and then I want to do a little forensic mythology on the story of Troy, which, if you see the movie with Brad Pitt, I'll start from there and then break it down a little bit. But anyways, it appears that 3 iatlas has some company, is the way I saw it described. So there's three more objects that are exhibiting strange behavior that are passing by the sun at the same time that 3 iatlases. Two of them are going to be between 3 iatlas and the Earth in a couple of weeks, and the third one is coming closer to Earth, but from the opposite direction. But it's not going to get, closer is relative. So, they have names. So, one of them is named Borisov to 2025, and that one is the one that's going to be directly between Earth and 3 iatlas. There's also K1 Atlas, which seems to be accompanying, I guess, 3 iatlas, which seems kind of weird, like, because that one appeared only a couple weeks ago, so nobody knows that. I think they're looking for it in the back data, like in the direction that they think it came from, but it seems to be, like I said, accompanying 3 iatlas. And then there's A6 Lemon, which is the third object I was telling you guys about, and that one has a strange color. It has a tail, which was normal comet does, but the colors seem to be odd. It's golden, I guess, is the way that it was described, which is something that's pretty rare for comets. So yeah, it's 3 iatlas update. Sorry. It appears to have 7 jets, as the way it was described. It's throwing off stuff, I guess, and so they think that might account for the non-gravitational acceleration that I brought up in the other video. But it seems kind of weird too, though, because it still doesn't have a tail. It's still pretty bright, or brighter than it should be, and it's moving pretty fast. So there's that. Okay, I guess that's it. You can see some of the other ones, especially the two that are between 3 iatlas and Earth. They're in the constellation of Virgo, and A6 Lemon is in the constellation of Leo. Okay, so now on to Troy. Alright, like I said, if you've seen the movie, you saw the part where Paris steals Helen and takes her back to Troy, and and then Agamemnon and his brother come after her with in the movie, I'm not sure they say it, but in the story, in the written mythology, it was called the largest army the world had ever seen, which is raised by Agamemnon, because he called in all his favors, I guess is the best way to put it, around the known Greek world, and they went to attack Troy. So, interestingly enough, the Brad Pitt character, they might have been Phoenician, which I brought up in the last video. And the reason why I say this is because they flew black sails. You saw that in the movie. And then the Phoenician warriors were pretty fierce. The naval warriors, they were pretty good at naval warfare. I guess they would have been what would be considered Marines today. They're attached to the Navy, but on land, they'll fuck you up. So there's that. So yeah, that was interesting. But like I said, because Agamemnon was the most powerful king at the time. Well, I didn't say that, but he was the most powerful king at the same time, at that time. And he told everybody, like, hey, we're going to go attack these people, and you guys are going to help us out, or we're going to attack you also. So from all over the Mediterranean, people the different kingdoms sent armies to help them attack Troy, which is located on the northern side of Turkey right now. I think, okay, yeah, it's on the Aegean Sea. It's not in the Black Sea. It's on the Aegean Sea side of northern Turkey. Anyways, though, at that time too, also there was I the Hittite Empire, which was what Troy was a part of, or one of the cities of, which extended, like in Turkey and uh, into, I guess, Armenia, if I have the map correctly in my head in the direction I'm thinking. Anyways, though, so and going back to Troy, so they get attacked. They're on the northern side of Turkey, on the Aegean Sea. They get attacked by the largest army the world had ever seen up to that point, and it was made up of people from all over the Mediterranean, from North Africa. I'm pretty sure the Egyptians didn't go, but I thinking at that time they had the Libyans. He called in some of the Proto-Italian people that were to the west, all the Greeks, and some of the Western Asian peoples. Like I said, the Phoenicians, which would have been what the Brad Pitt character in the movie would have been based on, or Achilles. But Achilles was Greek, anyways. Though, the only reason why I think that is because of the black sails. But oh yeah, that's the other thing about Achilles. I mean, that's just a story. I don't think he existed, because that whole, dipped in the river, can't be killed thing, some bullshit. I mean, maybe there was a dude that was a badass fighter, but yeah, he wasn't a god or a demigod or whatever. Anyways, though, back to the story. So Agamemnon attacks Troy. They do the whole, they're there for 10 years, it takes forever. They pretend to leave, Trojan horse, bullshit. They sack the city. Okay, this is where the part I wanted to get to and why I brought it up in the first place. After they sack Troy, which would have been in 1200 BC, that coincides with what's known as the Bronze Age collapse. Interestingly enough, nobody knows where what are called the Sea People invaders that caused the Bronze Age collapse came from. My theory, personally, of course, by if. So my theory is that Agamemnon's army, after sacking Troy on their way home, just kept destroying shit. So they took out the rest of the Hittite Empire, worked their way down, destroyed the Phoenician Empire. They pushed back the Sumerian Empire. They had to withdraw all the way back into Mesopotamia. So that's the Hittites. Oh, the Akkadians. They were the ones that would have been between the Hittites, which was what Troy was a part of, and the Phoenicians, which were closer between, right above Egypt. So the Sea People invaders, which I think were the remnants of Agamemnon's army, worked their way down West Asia, destroying city after city. This is all factual. There's tablets that were burned in the burned cities that the kings of the cities or the rulers of the cities were calling for help from their allies, but they never got to send the messages out because the city got sacked and burned, and the clay tablets got hardened. And there's actually like thousands, and I'm talking about like maybe tens of thousands of tablets from the Akkadian Empire alone that are being translated, and they've only translated a few hundred. I've read them; they're pretty interesting. I mean, like not the ones about the Sea People invasion, but like there's some about like there's letters from school children to their parents. There's complaints, in the city about merchants cheating people, like regular city shit. And it's like I said, they're interesting. I like reading. The reason why I took ancient literature in college is because I look at it as a form of time travel. I'm reading what somebody wrote down literally thousands of years ago, and I'm able to decipher at least partly what they were thinking by reading what they wrote. I mean, as a writer, I guess I could relate to other writers So back to Troy and the Bronze Age collapse, which was caused, I think, again by, this is my personal theory, the remnants of Agamemnon's army. After they sacked Troy on their way home, they just kept destroying shit. So they get all the way to Egypt. Uh, this is at the time of Ramses III, and he stops them. Well, I guess semi stops them. He kept losing battles. At this time, Egypt controlled. If you're familiar with the Israel-Gaza conflict, they're the ones that built Gaza, the Egyptians. That was originally an Egyptian outpost dating back of 4,000 years or so, and it was a military outpost. As you see, the spelling is Giza, Gaza. They're really similar. Besides that, yeah, I mean, if you look in the history of Gaza, you'll see that it was an Egyptian outpost at one time. Up until the point of the Sea People invasion of West Asia. And one of the people named by the Egyptians, because they named 9 different people, were the Palisade. The Palisade were thought to be the Greeks, I guess the core of Agamemnon's army. They got, I guess they were the largest contingent of the Sea People invasion, because there was, like I said, at least 9 distinct tribes or people named, plus from other accounts besides the Egyptian that there was probably a few others. The Libyans were involved because they invaded Egypt. I guess it wasn't a coincidence. They invaded Egypt at the same time that the Sea People invasion happened, which was, like I said, right after the fall of Troy. Like literally, Troy falls, and then the Sea People invasion happens, where they sack all of West Asia, burn the cities to the ground. If you go through the ruins of the cities, there's ash, like a layer of ash. They all date to the same time period, which is about 3,200 years ago. So like, yeah, I mean, like I said, this is for a forensic mythology series, and I want to explain where, like, the myth story of Troy actually came from, and because it actually happened. They found the city of Troy. Agamemnon actually existed. So did Helen. So did his brother, the one whose wife got stolen. As far as Hector and Paris, I'm pretty sure they existed too. You know, like Hector was a famous warrior. Achilles, like I said, more than likely there was a dude named Achilles, but he wasn't a demigod. He was just a dude that was pretty good at fighting. You know, they come along here and there. What else? So back to so after the Egyptians stopped the Sea People invasion, which I'm just gonna call the remnants of Agamemnon's army now, or Agamemnon's army, they stopped them on the shore of the Nile. They set a trap for them, and they fell for it, and they got pretty much obliterated. Interestingly enough, the Libyan faction of the invasion, because they invaded from what would be Egypt's west, as the Sea People invaders were coming from the north, or Agamemnon's army. Like I said, they were in Turkey, and if you go south, you would end up in Egypt. They were working their way south.